What's going on, guys and gals? I hope all of you are well. I wanted to make a video for you following on from my post that I did yesterday, giving you a little bit more information as to what it is that I'm actually up to, so you have some context as to what that looks like. So you would have seen from that post that I have made a decision to go out on my own to re-pursue my own venture, or possibly ventures again, which is really exciting. So for those of you who don't know a hell of a lot about me, very quick history around the work side of things. I have been in sales roles or sales management roles or running my own business for the past little while. It's basically all I know. It's the one thing in the world that I actually think I'm good at, is being able to influence people. It's why I think I'm a good salesperson. Currently, well, I shouldn't say currently, as of a few days ago, I was working for a corporate in New Zealand as their head of acquisitions as such. Essentially, it was a glorified sales manager. I was running a few different teams for them. One of the teams was hunting business from our competitors and trying to win them back to us. And then we had a couple of other teams in the retail space, and then trying to retain those customers as well. So at the start of this month, at the start of December, I found out that we would be going through a restructure, the leadership team that I was part of. And it seemed to me that as part of that restructure, I was most probably going to be okay. One of the things that I knew was that I wasn't 100% happy in this role. I knew that long term, the corporate game wasn't the thing for me. It just didn't map to my goals and kind of who I was. And to be fair, I was, because of that, feeling pretty suffocated by the whole thing. I really, really missed doing my own thing, running my own business since we did that a few years ago. So that was the current situation. Found out we were going through a restructure. Initially speaking, I was happy to go through the process, interview, to come out the other end of it and to push on to next year. But when I really started to think and look deeply, I realized that this was an opportunity for me to take another big risk and go and do my own thing. And that's exactly what I've decided to do, which is exciting and a little bit scary. For me, long term, my key goal or goals is to have financial freedom, doing what I love doing and doing what makes me happy. That's the number one thing above all else. I've realized that although money is important, it isn't as important as happiness. And the other thing for me is I want to build something that is actually going to create a real positive impact on the people who are in contact with it, or who have touch points with the product or the service or the business or whatever it is that I'm building. So essentially, I've made a decision to go from a $130,000 a year income, and that's not including all of the additional commissions and whatnot on top, and to go from that to nothing, to absolutely zilch. I obviously had to do a fair bit of thinking and justification to figure out if this was going to be a good decision or not. And I think the justification for me came around the fact that I have no big financial ties, no big commitments, nothing that, if I fucked this whole thing up, was going to cause a hell of a lot of drama. I mean, the only thing for me really is just my week-on-week expenses. So I looked at it and went, well, worst case scenario, I push hard and get absolutely nowhere for 9 months. So worst case is 9 months worth of expenses, plus potentially a bit of capital that I may have to put into one of these ventures. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do that or not. So I looked at that and went, well, that's worst case scenario. Actually, it's not really that bad. Like, yeah, it would obviously suck putting that amount of money down the toilet. However, it's well worth the risk for me and well worth the potential upside. I am very comfortable with taking risks. I have absolutely no issue with that, as long as the upside or the reward for me makes sense and I believe, given the options that I have, that reward certainly makes sense. So that's what I'm up to. I'm really, really pumped about it. And my goal with this will be to document this journey, to take you through what day to day, week to week, month to month looks like for me, what's working, what isn't, all that great stuff, and just document my journey. And then also create some content for you guys that will provide you some value around the sales management thing, and just some things that I've learnt along the way. No doubt also some mindset stuff too. So lastly, I have 3 options that I'm currently looking at. Number 1 is setting up a franchise business in and around the mortgage space. I can't go into too much more detail as to what it looks like right now, because I'm actually in negotiations around this in terms of getting the business set up. So I will be able to provide you some more detail if and when that all gets locked in. It's all looking very good. It's looking very exciting, but I can't say anything just yet. But that's one very big thing. The second one for me, and I touched on it in an earlier video, is I am looking to utilize Amazon's logistics network in the States to sell a private label branded product that I'm currently in the process of building. I've gone through all the product research stage, looked at the commercial viability of it, and it all makes sense. What I've got to do now is go through and actually create all the branding, get all the product samples, all that good stuff, put it all together. The challenge for me with that will be, it'll be a little bit capital intensive at the start. So I need to make a decision if I have enough risk tolerance for that, given I have no income, no revenue currently being generated right now, but I still have expenses. So those are the first 2. And then the last one for me is a little revenue stream on the side to build up some momentum while I'm looking at the other 2 things, is to get back in contact with some of the clients that we had when we were running the business a few years back. And that was actually one of the meetings that I alluded to as part of a post that I recently did on Instagram. So I'll go into some more detail as to exactly what those 3 things look like in another video. But for now, those are the 3 options. That's what I'm looking at. Essentially, the next few weeks for me are going to be working through which of those to execute on. Can I do all 3? Should I be doing 2? Should I be doing 1? But I'm very excited to have you join me as part of this, to go from $130,000 a year to nothing, to then see what I can build forward to. So very, very excited. Glad you're here. Looking forward to what 2019 brings. We'll talk soon.